Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
High pressure, high stakes. It feels like the whole world's watching every move that I make. Another sunrise, another warning, but I'm still learning how to hold the line, how to quiet down the noise inside. And the months slip away when I forget what I need. So I steady up my hands, let the rhythm set me free. I remember to breathe when the whole world shakes me down. Clear mind, finally free. I won't break, I won't bow. I'm holding on, holding on. Yeah, I'm stronger than I seem. I remember to breathe.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Infinity Broadcasting and welcome in to the High Side Motorsports as we present the Now Parking Lot 150 here this evening out at Auto Club Speedway in beautiful sunny California. Hamish Munro here with you alongside Anthony Luedy once again, and well, we're in for an exciting night of racing tonight. Auto Club, it's a good test of a circuit. It's one that will throw out some twists and turns to these drivers all throughout, but it's also one that could be an early spanner in the works in terms of shaking up this championship. It's high speed, it's loose, it's tough, and it's one of those circuits that may not be in the top 10 of favourite circuits out there, but maybe one that's a little bit too overlooked at times.
I could not agree more. This is probably one of my favorite tracks on iRacing. Just the way that it drives is absolutely incredible. I did get the opportunity to hop in one of these cars and do some test laps before we hopped up here in the booth. And man, I forgot how bumpy the straightaways are at this place. I mean, it took me way back to when I started on this sim. It'll beat you to death, and these guys are going to have their hands full tonight. If they got another car nose under your rear end and that car hits the bumps wrong, it could turn you.
Oh, it could very easily, very easily do so. And what I think we saw last week at Nashville was obviously there was a lot of early incidents because of cold tyres. Not necessarily drivers making contact with each other causing massive wrecks, though we did have some of those. But it was mainly cold tyres, cars getting loose, and that was then proving to be the real struggle early in the race. Once they got the tyres up to temperature, though, they got into some really top-level racing all throughout the 150 miles out at Nashville last time out. And I think tonight we're either going to be in a similar state where cold tyres, bumpy track could be an early opportunity for cautions, or drivers may drive on the edge of caution, let the tyres warm up, and then get themselves into a long green run. So I think if they can learn from what happened last week, reapply it to this week here at Auto Club, we could be in for either a spectacular early green period or possibly an early caution period, which then kind of leads into a nice long green period towards the end of the race. What I do think we're going to get, though, is a spectacular race tonight. I think Auto Club offers up a lot of different nuances about it. Green pit stops could be a major factor tonight, too, if we do get into those longer green periods. I'm interested to see, though, what some of those front-running drivers can do tonight. The Bailey Brannons, the Josh Parents, Austin Coles. And even if other drivers who we know have got good pace can match them, i.e. Cody Pruitt and Chris Mackey, who are currently topping the practice session. We've got so many drivers that could possibly win tonight, Anthony, and it's not like Talladega course where anybody could win the race. It just depends how lucky you are. Tonight is going to be about momentum, carrying the momentum as best as possible, but having a little bit of luck on your side, really strategically pulling those pit stops out of you, pulling your tyre sets out of you as well, and trying to plan and buy a ticket for the end of the race where we may go into overtime once again, and we may see just as an exciting finish as we saw last week at Nashville.
Yeah, I think we're really in for a good race. One of the characteristics of this track that appeals to most racers out there is you can use all 3 and sometimes even 4 grooves on this racetrack. We're going to see 3 and 4 wide racing throughout the field this entire night. And I tell you what, if you can get that high side, you said the key word there, momentum. If you can get that high line rolling and keep that momentum all race long and not hit the wall, you have a chance to win this race.
Oh, you very well do. Now, obviously last week we thought there was going to be 4 different winners. Eventually it came down to Josh Parent. Josh has got some great pace. He leads the championship at the moment as well. What does he need to do tonight, Anthony, do we think, to try and maximise? Does he need to get another win? Or do we think maybe a top 5 would be good enough to continue carrying some momentum throughout this championship? Because championship victories come in momentum swings. They come in the fact of you're getting race wins or results, but sometimes you can get halted by a poor result. What do we think he needs to do tonight just to try and keep the momentum rolling a little bit and push forward to the last round of 2025 next week out at Daytona, and then reset during his break and come back in January where we'll race on again? What will he need to do tonight and probably next week at Daytona as well, do we think?
Yeah, coming into this race, I mean, getting a win in race number 1 is huge. I mean, that's an ultimate momentum booster for you right there. I think if you can come out of race number 2 with a top 5, I think you're in a really good spot as you head to Daytona.
Yeah, I think that's probably good enough. I mean, a top 10, You're still getting some good momentum, but top 10s are a lot more easily achievable than what a top 5 is, even more so than a podium. But I think we'll see how he goes tonight. We'll see how Austin Cole does tonight as well. He was our favourite after before the last few lap shenanigans last week, which then saw him drop out of that position. But Josh is one that we'll need to be keeping an eye on. Just to give you the update of where we are in the championship, well, obviously last week we were out at Nashville Super Speedway for round 1, 112 laps, 150 miles in the HSM 150. This week we're at Auto Club Speedway for the now parking lot 150, 75 lap stage, and will be lap 35. And next week we'll end it for 2025, Daytona Speedway for the Rinker Construction 150 as well, 60 laps. 28 laps will be the stage end next week. We'll then reroute and return back to you after the holiday period and the New Year's period. January 4th will be the first round of 2026 out at Kansas Speedway. And then we head out to Watkins Glen for our only road course round. So those first 5 rounds are going to set our top 16. Those top 16 will then go into our in-season tournament that'll be running across Darlington, Vegas, Echo Park, and Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where it will end after our longest night of the year. I believe it's 250 miles, I want to say, out of Indianapolis, 100 laps, 3 stages. It's going to be a tough night for them. Then we head out to Bristol, Atlanta, Old Atlanta, Pocono, Talladega, Iowa, and Charlotte. So still a lot of racing to come your way. All of it's going to be right here live on Infinity Broadcasting, so you guys can see all the action, follow along with the championship. And if you missed last week, well, I recommend you watch tonight's broadcast. Go check out last week's, and then maybe go out to Costco or wherever you may do your bulk shopping, buy some bulk popcorn, because this season, after we saw last week, Anthony, it's going to be fireworks all season, it's going to be cinema, and popcorn is going to be the bare minimum of what you're going to need to enjoy this. And then as well, hit the like button, the subscribe, the bell icon too, so you're notified whenever we go racing right here on Infinity Broadcasting. We're at 275 subscribers. We are only 25 away from 300. I'd love for us to get there by the 31st of December. You guys could do us a hand by clicking that subscribe button. We would really, really appreciate it. And it would help us moving along to that goal by the end of 2025 as well. Qualifying's just begun, and drivers are out there at the moment. So they're just getting into their grooves, Anthony. You mentioned the bumps tonight. That's going to be an issue for some drivers, I'm sure. How are they? Actually, speaking of bumps, Bailey Brandon just caught one here in qualifying and has had to force it back into pit lane. How are they going to best be able to withstand the bumps around here? Because we can already see from drivers we're seeing on track, they're getting real loose really early. And with those cold tyres early in the race, that could be an early factor for possibly trying to save your fast repair for later in the race.
Oh, 100%. The one thing that I had even said to you off air that I didn't remember was that they put the high downforce package on for this track. So the spoilers are a little bit bigger than what we had last week. That's going to sink the rear end of these cars into the racetrack just a little bit more than what we saw last week. I do think we're going to still see some slipping and sliding, but I don't think we're going to see quite as much carnage, fingers crossed, that we saw last week. This racetrack is wider. There's a lot more room to maneuver around, and we have a little bit more downforce on these cars, so we're going to be hopeful headed into this race here.
So what I'm noticing, actually, now that you do mention that, just looking at some of the cars, so we haven't got the max downforce package that we would have at, say, Daytona next week, where it has sort of the little perspex window in the back of the wing, but we have got the speedway package on the cars, it seems, so the slightly bigger rear wing than what we had last time out at Nashville. Next week when we're at Daytona, we'll have the Super Speedway Aero package on the car, which obviously has the much taller wing with the perspex window. Front end of the car is slightly different as well. Those little nuances about NASCAR is similarly to IndyCar as well. They have different aero packages wherever they go racing. At the moment, Timothy Causey is our provisional pole sitter here tonight, and at the moment he doesn't really look like he's going to get challenged by anybody either. Looking down the order, I mean, Josh Parent, he got up into P2, McKellar P3, Mackey P4, Hatch P5. Everyone else, though, they're struggling in the back end of the field, and there's only a few cars that are yet to do a time. Only 4, in fact. So we're looking at about 35 cars tonight, which is a fantastic amount of drivers on track, and is going to give us some spectacular racing, no doubt about it. What it will also likely lead to, though, is some cautions, because ultimately with 35 cars, that's 35 opportunities for a caution. If we were to go cautionless at Auto Club, that would be a pretty good feat. But I don't know if there's ever been a race at Auto Club, Anthony, that's gone cautionless with over 30 cars.
Yeah, yeah, you're not wrong about that. It's definitely a big field, but it's really great to see, especially for the admin team that put in all the work here to get this league off the ground, to have so many entries in their first season. That's just simply spectacular, and I can't wait to get this race started.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Qualifying's just come to an end. And drivers are about to get gridded up for the first time this season. It'll be Timothy Causey on the front row of the grid, alongside championship leader Josh Parent on the front row, William McKellar, Chris Mackey on the second row, with Ryan Hatch and Mike Rinker for the top six. Jay Salmon, Bailey Brannon will start ahead of Will Kern and Austin Cole for the top 10. Todd Merkel will start alongside Austin Stamper then for the top 12, with Keith Vaughan, Alan Phillips ahead of Zach Smathers and Clay Stewart, with Posey Kareen and Nick Mirasu for the top 18. Rusty Jordan ahead of Cody Pruitt for the top 20, with Damon Marotta and Justin McCurdy for the top 22. Paul Harris, Trey Jones then start for the top 24, with Trey Martin ahead of Nate Owen, Joe Dyson, Michael Letzich for the top 28. Jack Anderson, the resident Australian, down the order tonight in qualifying, had a pretty good run last week apart from some damage. He'll be hoping to work his way up the order tonight as well. He'll start alongside John Roberts, with Robert Bluin, with Rob Stevens Jr. alongside him, and all Rob, 16th row of the grid, with Kevin Winker and Owen Russell ahead of Sean Lester for the 35 cars on the grid here this evening. It is going to be intensity personified across the racing here tonight, and one thing that these drivers are going to want to try and maximize across the piece is keeping their cars clean and hanging on to that crucial fast repair till as late as possible, because as we mentioned, Auto Club is about as bumpy as a bounce house, and any misjudgment of the jump could throw you out onto the grass, and you don't want to end up with a broken car very early on in this race, because that is going to make you walk on eggshells for the rest of the 150 miles.
Yeah, you nailed it, man. You nailed it. Smooth and steady. That's what we need to do as we take the green flag here at Auto Club. Everybody just needs to mind their P's and Q's, let these tire temps come up, and man, this is a lot of cars. Anything can happen. One thing that you had asked earlier is what the winner from last week, what does he need to do to move forward? Rule number one, he needs to stay out of trouble, because this field is huge.
Well, he's done exactly what he needed to do in qualifying. He's qualified it up the front.
Yeah, absolutely.
If he can hang it out there and keep it up the front, then he's doing half his job already. Like, you know, all he now has to do, starting in P2, is stay where he is. He doesn't necessarily need to gain anything to get the race win. He could even give up a couple of positions. But he is in the wonderful position now where he is able to just kind of hold steady and hang on to his position. He doesn't have to work through this large field. He doesn't have to fight his way forward. He is able just to let the race come to him and work out his best strategy for how he is going to attack this circuit tonight, how he's going to attack this race. But ultimately as well, he's also in the position, Anthony, that he can kind of just cruise along and try and hang on to the position that he's got tonight. He will be feeling some pressure, but they'll be a little bit lifted after the race win last week.
Yeah, I agree with that totally. I don't think he has to go out there and try to do anything spectacular during this first stage. He just needs to try to keep it up front within the top 5, even top 10. If other people are faster, go ahead and let them by. Just stay out of the rear of this field where potential carnage could happen.
Well, pace truck's about to come in, or about to get into the start zone as well. Tim Causey on the front row in the 09. Josh Parent, the championship leader in P2. Stage 1 about to get underway. 35 laps of Auto Club. The initial miles of Nowa Parking Lot 150 are underway as we cross the strike and lap 1 begins.
Man, talk about an even restart up front. Not one advantage. That was about as close as it gets. With these restart zones enabled within the NASCAR series, a lot of times the guy that oh, we see a loose. He's loose on the bottom.
Oh, he is.
Oh,
no. That is a big one early. That was all caused by the 09 of Tim Causey getting loose and getting caught up. And now the namesake is true. It is now a parking lot down there.
Oh, my goodness. That is exactly what they didn't want to see on the front row there.
Well, the driver that did want to see that happen was Josh Parent, because he's come out of it unscathed and into the race lead. And there were multiple drivers caught up in that at that time. But that was a big one. But again, all comes down to a simple mistake, cold tyres, and the yellow flag comes out. And, I mean, what more could they have done aside from just lift a little bit, keep yourself neat and tidy, and keep yourself in the fight?
Yeah, I mean, it's just so unfortunate for the guys in the middle of the pack there. The 09 came up, and there's nothing you can do when you're in that scenario. Your view, you can't see that. I mean, when you're in the cockpit, they had no idea the 09 was coming back on the track. And, you know, thank God we've got a faster pair. Unfortunately, a lot of guys are going to be using it on lap 2 here this race.
Well, what I would say is, so how that car has just reacted right off the road. And obviously, when it's gotten loose, we may just need to do a little bit of finagling here. Just go back a little bit. All right, so let's have a look at this. So he's come round. He's gotten real loose. Now, I don't know if he got a bump off the car in behind, but he got real loose, and he's tried to catch it. Fair play, he's tried to catch it. I almost feel like he would have been better off, though, Anthony, just aiming for the infield and just trying to straighten the car up on the infield instead of trying to get it back on the racing surface straight away. Yeah,
no, I agree with you 100%. I think you still probably want to pull the wheel left and try to keep it out of traffic. The way that he did was unfortunate for all parties involved, for sure.
Well, what it's worked out as is it's put a lot of cars towards the back of the field, some of which we know were initial challenges tonight and this season. Austin Call with a meatball flag into pit lane. Bailey Brannon into pit lane with a meatball. Jay Salmon as well. Cody Pruitt into pit lane as well, including other cars like Mike Rinker, who we know has got good pace. Damon Marauder as well. Kevin Winker. John Roberts is in too. So there's multiple cars who are in. Drivers who have been in, well, Tim Causey, Austin Stamper, Nick Merisu as well. As I've also seen that Nate Owen, I think, actually started from pit road tonight too. He's down the order, or was down the order quite a fair bit, but he had a very long pit stop there, so I'm not sure that's happened. Marauder's also got himself a black flag, so that's not good for him, but multiple cars with big damage. It is, I mean, it's bound to happen. It is Auto Club, it's 35 cars. It was bound to happen. And in saying that, again, I mean, what can you do? All you can do is watch it, see what happened, reflect. How could you change it? Well, he got loose. His car was aimed to the infield. Just let the car go in the infield, fix it up through there. At least the car's not going to swing straight back onto the racing surface, and you're not going to catch up, 5 or 10 other cars in a wreck that was avoidable off a very early mistake due to cold tires.
Yeah, 100%, man. And just looking at the race control log there, he did just get loose on his own and did not receive a tap from the rear end there. So that was just solely on the 09. Unfortunately, a very early mistake that caused a lot of damage. But what we got to do right now, folks, we got to regroup. You got to get your head back in the game. You got a faster pair. This race is not over. You have a lot of racing left to go. Get back to focusing. Let's go back out there and make the best of the day.
Well, we know that some drivers who have got really good pace up the front of the field they're going to get into their stride now, try and keep their cars clean. So Josh Parent, we know, has got good pace. Chris Mackey's got good pace. William McKellar has as well. Kern and Hatch, they'll be ones to watch. Merkel, Phillips, Vaughan, those guys are up some bulk positions, same as Smathers and Stewart. But they've all put themselves in a solid position now for this restart. So the pace truck will come in, and we will get ready to go once again here at Auto Club Speedway. Unsure what Will Kern's doing up there. Parent's trying to go for a midline apparently, but he needs to try and get his car back in the train. Get himself ready to go for this race restart. So pace truck will come in, restart zone will light up once again, and we will get running here at Auto Club. Josh Parent, who's got good pace out at Auto Club. Chris Mackey, who's got good pace as well. It's a fight for the ages at the front of the field as the green flag is out and lap 5 begins of 35. Are the cold tyres going to affect them again, or can they get them up to temperature and give us a long green run to the stage end at 35?
Another really good restart. We saw that all week last week. That 12 car, he sure knows how to fire off on these restarts. But man, that 31 car of William Kern.
Oh!
Oh!
That was the 71, sorry, of Joe Dyson, who just got put in the wall. Anderson's been caught up in it as well. More cars have been caught out by the exit of turn 2. But who was... So Joe Dyson, who was involved in that one. It's another early caution here. And again, race control are going to be cracking the whip on this now because this is all happening. So let's go back a little bit here and see how this happens. So as he's come round, the car on his outside